No? And aside from that, minor connector has also other functions. No? This is called the um, prosthesis to abutment function. So the minor connector also transfers yung stress from the denture to the abutment tooth. So just like the major connector, minor connector is also capable of transferring forces to the abutment, and this is called the prosthesis abutment function. And it also, just like the major connector, minor connector also has the function of distributing, no? Yung stress that is received by the components or by the denture to the different supporting structures, no? So just like the major connector, since the major connector is responsible for distributing forces. So ganun din ang minor connector. That is why minor connector should also possess some form of rigidity. So kailangan rigid din ang minor connector. Just like the major connector, to be able to transfer or to effectively distribute forces, it has to be rigid also. Okay. So we have different types of minor connector, depending on the other components that it attaches. So you have a minor connector that attaches the denture base. As I've mentioned kanina, what is the approach arm of a vertical projection clasp? It is actually a minor connector, yung approach arm. And then you have a minor connector that attaches the direct, as well as a minor connector that attaches an indirect retainer. Okay. So these are minor connectors that attaches the direct or indirect retainer to the major connector. And some principles ng design. No, may mga design that says that the best, usually kasi, di ba, when we choose abutment, we choose abutment adjacent to the edentulus. No? Kasi ang rule o ang sabi, what they say is the closer your abutment, the closer the retention to the edentulus space, the better is the retention. So, as much as possible, di ba, when we choose abutment, we choose it yung tooth adjacent. No? Usually, syempre, depending on the aesthetics, depending on the contour. But basically, when we choose abutment, we choose the tooth adjacent to the edentulus. And certain design principles says that you put your minor connector adjacent to the edentulus. This way, not kasi you don't see too many vertical minor connectors, no? Unlike if you place it in between teeth, makikita niyo pa, you see pa the minor connector. So if you place the minor connector or if you place the rest adjacent to the edentulus, yung minor connector, di ba, it gets attached to the minor connector that is placed on the denture base. And if you put pontic there, hindi mo na nakikita yung minor connector. So yun, sinasabi nila, better daw if you place it adjacent sa edentulus area. And if the minor connector that attaches the direct retainer or your clasp is placed on the edentulus area, the proper configuration is it should be wide, bucolingual. No? Anong tawag nyo doon? What do you call that surface adjacent to the edentulus, which bears parallel relationship? We call them guide planes, no? And the more the minor connector comes in contact with the guide plane, the better for the denture. Mas maganda ang stability, mas maganda ang in terms of rigidity, no? So, and kaya nga mas maganda if this is the case, if the minor connector is placed adjacent to the edentulus area, ang recommendation is the minor connector should be wide, bucolingual, so that it take the advantage of the guide planes. But it should be thin, mesiodistal, manipis pero malapad, so that it does not interfere with the placement of the denture. Thicker in the lingual, tapering towards the buccal. But it should cover, no, almost the entire guide planes. But it should be thin so that it doesn't it doesn't become objectionable to the placement of the pontic. Minor connector that attaches the indirect retainer is usually placed in between these. Basically, pareho lang sila, no? It should taper from the major connector going up, no? So, ganun din naman yan, no? Ang difference lang, since most indirect retainer, we place it in between these. And yung minor connector, as we mentioned, it should always be placed on the lingual surfaces or on the embouchure, no, rather than on the lingual surface ng tooth. Okay. So, this is the approach arm, no? And in a vertical projection type of clasp, the tip of the vertical projection is attached to the approach arm. So, what is an approach arm? This is simply a minor connector that attaches from a minor connector, runs along the mucosa, and always crosses the gingival margin at a rounded 90-degree angle. So ano ba ang approach arm? Ano lang siya? It is just a minor connector. And this is the only form of a minor connector that allows some form of flexibility. 'Di ba ang tip, 'di ba in a circumferential clasp, dapat ang tip flexible. So since kasi doon ka nag-a-adjust it's the 'di ba the retentive tip that we adjust, no? During placement ng dentures or ng inyong one piece. Since the tip is attached to the approach arm should also have some form of flexibility para it can go in and out of the indirect or in and out of the undercut area. So kailangan medyo flexible siya. So make sure it's 90-degree angle, no? And then another thing is I don't know kung ginagawa nyo to sa clinic, but actually, no, aside from finish line, dapat dapat may finish line between the approach arm and the retentive tip. So meron siyang finish line from the approach arm to the retentive tip. Kaya nga ang design ng major connector pa-taper towards the tissue. Just like just like what we said kanina, tissue metal that approaches the tissue should taper, no? Ganun din siya. Meron din siyang taper. Even taper from the mesh or from the denture base to the tip, no? So dapat may finish line. Wider siya papunta sa denture base, tapering as it goes towards the retentive tip. This allows the retentive tip to be more flexible. Tapos it separates the finish line in between the approach arm and the retentive tip, no? Yung finish line niya that separates the retentive tip from the minor connector. So dapat may taper. Nung kami noon, naglalagay kami na, I don't know if you do that now, naglalagay kami ng parang triangle in between the tip and the approach arm, just to show that it tapers towards the tissue. And as it tapers towards the tissue, that adds flexibility to the retentive tip. Okay? And then you have minor connector that attaches the denture base to the major connector for a while. Okay, no? So these are the requirements. So the only type ng minor connector which is allowed to have some form of flexibility is the approach arm. No? So we have three types of minor connector. You have your lattice work or the ladder. I think you don't call it the ladder, you call it lattice. And then you have the mesh. And then the third type is the bead, the wire, the nail head. When do we use lattice or mesh? What type of denture base does a lattice or a mesh attaches to the major? Anybody? We have two types of denture base. Hello? Hello po? Hello?
Yes po, Doc.
Okay, may kausap pa ba ako? Okay. So, anong klaseng, what type of denture base would a ladder or a mesh minor connector attach to your major connector? Metal or acrylic? Sorry? Di ba gumagawa kayo ng ano, di ba? Nagde-design kayo. O, kailan
Acrylic po.
nyo ginagamit ang lattice at mesh kung ang denture base mo is made of acrylic, di ba? And, di ba, ang mesh and ladder usually has spaces. And that spaces attaches. You need the spaces in the lattice and the mesh. No, yung mga spaces there. This is the way for retaining the acrylic denture base to the major connector. No problem with the metal kasi yung minor connector, the lattice and the mesh is metal. Your major connector is metal. So walang problema. They attach themselves, no? Meron mechanical, chemical siguro, no? Chemical retention. So no problem. Andun na yung minor connector nyo, di ba? You have ready your lattice and your mesh work. What is the problem? Why do you need to put the mesh and the ladder? Kasi you need to attach an acrylic denture base to a metal major connector. That is why we need spaces. You need that spaces in your lattice work and the mesh work. What about the bead, the wire, and the nail head? This is used if your denture base is made of metal. And bakit kailangan, why do we need that nail head? The bead or the wire or the nail head. Ang purpose niyan is to attach the acrylic pontic to the metal framework. Kasi yung denture base mo, if your denture base is made of metal ang denture base mo, no problem attaching it to the major connector. Sa wax pattern pa lang, may denture base na, di ba? Kasi metal yung denture base mo. Pag casting, no, kasama na yung metal. The metal denture base is already attached. So why do we need the bead, the nail head? The nail head is used to attach the acrylic pontic to the metal denture base. Magkaiba sila actually ng purpose. Yung lattice and acrylic, it attaches kaya nga kung if ever, no, if you're going to identify your parts ng inyong framework, kung metal ang denture base mo, denture base na siya. Hindi siya minor connector, denture base na siya. Pero if it's lattice or mesh, minor connector pa siya. Kasi i-attach pa, the acrylic denture base will be attached to the metal framework. Okay? Okay. No? So this is the mesh and this is the ladder or your lattice. No? I think you call it lattice. So doesn't matter. No? And usually, no, kailan maganda ang acrylic? If it is long span. Mas maganda kasi ang denture base if it's acrylic. Why? Because it will undergo reception and resorption. So better, easier to add, easier to subtract. So much better kung ang denture base mo is made of acrylic. And if it's acrylic, no, ang tawag dito, kapag acrylic ang denture base, you use either this, no? And it really doesn't matter kung mesh or ladder, pareho lang. Although, theoretically, they say that it's better to use, mas maganda ang retention. The ladder or the lattice actually provides for better retention of your acrylic denture base, no? Because the spaces. So when you make your ladder or your mesh, don't make the butas, don't make your spaces too narrow. Kasi nadidefeat yung purpose ng space. Kaya nga, kaya nga tayo naglalagay, we put spaces para when the acrylic is processed, it gets attached for retention siya eh. And di ba, I don't know kung nag-process kayo ng denture. When during processing ng denture, kapag dating ng acrylic, di ba, you need a presser. Pinipress yan eh, para yung acrylic mo flows into the framework. Eh if your butas, if your spaces in between is so small, difficult for the acrylic to go inside. So, hindi kailangang maliliit yung spaces. Ang recommendation is one ladder in between teeth. So, you don't need too many like that. No? One in between teeth is usually sufficient. Okay? So, whether it's acrylic, whether it's mesh or ladder, it doesn't matter as long as you use an acrylic denture base. No? And when does an acrylic denture base? Kapag long span, tooth tissue borne. Or if ever you anticipate resorption and recession. Yun yung mga recommendation for an acrylic denture base. And if you remember, kapag distal extension for the so this is the nail heads, by the way, no? So no problem with the mesh. And this is the nail head. And as I've said, kaya may nail heads, di ba? So ang purpose nun is to attach your acrylic Pontic to the denture base. Nandiyan na yung denture base nyo. Pontic na lang ang idadagdag, di ba? Kaya sa wax pattern, naka-green wax na yan. Na. And then, ang recommendation is 2 nail heads per Pontic. 1 bakal, 1 lingual. Not too many, hindi rin recommended that you have too many nail heads. No? I don't know, parang wala yatang nagne-nail head. Siguro, most of your work is acrylic. So, medyo nakalimutan na si metal. No? Maganda ang metal for short span, tooth-borne, well-healed ridges, no? Maganda ang metal. Or kung medyo deep ang bite, you need strength for your denture base, so maganda ang metal. Because of the strength ng metal. So if you're using metal, you need nail heads. And how many nail heads is recommended? Ang recommendation is 2 nail heads per replacement tooth. 1 bakal, 1 lingual. Para daw mas maganda ang attachment ng Pontic to the denture base. Okay? Okay. No? So whenever it's distal extension for the maxillary, di ba, it should cover the entire edentulous area up to the maxillary tuberosity. So we extend the major connector. No? Kasi in maxillary, sa maxilla, the major connector is completely attached to the denture base or to the minor connector. So the minor connector extends the entire edentulous space, and the maxillary major connector actually gets attached the entire length of the minor connector, di ba? Hanggang sa tuberosity. But if it's lower, usually it only covers the anterior 2/3 of the residual ridge. No need to cover, di ba, the entire edentulous space, and you do not extend the lingual border or the plate or whatever. No, you do not extend the major connector to cover the edentulous space, but we end the major connector sa lower distal of the last abutment, the terminal tooth. So meron kang sa ano, 'di ba, kapag maxilla, yung lingual border ng mesh or ladder already forms the lingual border of your major connector. And pag naglagay tayo ng finish line, 'di ba, every time the major joins the minor or the minor connector that attaches the denture base, 'di ba? Naglalagay tayo ng finishing lines or finish lines. And since the major connector is completely attached to the mesh or the ladder, ang finish line should cover the entire attachment. In the case of the lower, meron tayong talagang buccal border of the minor connector and a lingual border kung distal extension siya. So, no, ha? Please, no. Yung ine-extend ang major connector. I hope you don't make that mistake na nag-extend kayo ng major connector in a distal extension lower. Okay? I'm sure naman siguro, no? Alam niyo naman yan. It's just a matter siguro na mamadali ka. Ay, ma'am, nakalimutan ko. Oh, no? So, kasi, no, remember, no, sa board exams, or no, hindi ka pwedeng, nakalimutan ko. Oo nga pala. Usually, pag tinanong mo yung mga yung after exam, oh, ang ginawa mo, ay, nakalimutan ko. Kalimutan ko pala, dapat pala may rest dito. Ay, dapat pala nandito to. So, ang problema kasi alam naman natin, you know naman eh. It's just that, siguro because of the pressure and everything, no? So, sometimes we forget. So, just be relaxed. See, the more tense you have, no? Or the more tense you are, the more chances you forget something. So don't forget that, huh? And you do not extend. Isa pang madalas kong nakikita, overextended ang minor connector for the lower. So we only cover 2/3 of the edentulous space. And in a lower distal extension, you have a lingual border of the minor connector and you have a buccal border. Sa upper, yung lingual border of the minor connector already forms the border of the major connector. Okay. So, we put tissue stop, no? And tissue stop is done to, bakit nagtitissue? These are laboratory procedures, di ba? So, why is tissue stop required? Tissue stop actually prevents distortion of the framework during packing of the acrylic para hindi gumagalaw, no? And sabi nila, ang trend ngayon is we don't put tissue stop anymore on the upper because the natural contour of the ridge already forms the tissue stop. But that sa lower hindi pwede, no? Hindi pwedeng walang tissue stop. Kasi nakaangat yung minor connector from the tissue. So you need, parang ano yan, di ba? Kaya nga stop yan, it's a stopper. Para when the acrylic is processed, hindi aangat yung inyong minor connector, hindi madidistort yung framework. That's the purpose of the tissue stop. To make sure stable yung framework. Kasi di ba pag nagpa-process ng acrylic, during processing ng denture, you need to press it. Kung wala kang stop at the end, lalo na distal extension, para yung siso, it's like your siso. Aangat yan. No? So when you put pressure on the posterior, ang tendency, tapos you don't have stop on the posterior, tendency for the anterior is to go up. Nagkakaroon ng siso effect. That is why they put a tissue stop. In the upper, not necessarily na daw kasi nga because of the contour because of the contour of the residual ridge, it's already, di ba, it's already what you call that, prominent, so that can already function as the tissue stop. Kaya hindi na nire-require ang tissue stop sa upper. Although, dapat hindi tayo gumagawa nito because this is done by the laboratory. Nilalagay lang yan sa design just to make, ang purpose lang yan is para alam siguro ng clinician na you need to put, dapat may tissue stop doon. Kasi the only thing that you do on your master cast, actually wala. Siguro transfer ng design, no? Designing lang. All the laboratory procedure is actually not done in the, di ba? It's not done in the master cast. Okay. Clear tayo about the tissue stop? So may nagtanong, Ma'am, is it inside or outside? Actually, it doesn't matter. Kayo, alam ko ang ginagawa nyo nasa labas. Di ba? You put this. How do we make tissue stop? This is done by removing, no? Approximately 2 square centimeters of the wax, relief wax, which is placed over your edentulous space. So, tinatanggalan ng wax dun sa area nung relief wax. Kasi during processing, if you remember, naglalagay ng relief wax, ang tawag doon, di ba, relief wax, naglalagay ng wax over the edentulous space. And yung relief wax that is used to create a space for the denture base, they remove 2 square centimeters, no? And whether it is placed inside or outside, it doesn't matter. Ano ang ginagawa nyo? Nilalagyan nyo siya ng extra square, di ba? Outside. Yung pinakadulo, the last ladder, no? You put squared like that, no? Although, in real life, no, hindi yan ginagawa sa master cast. Ginagawa yan sa refractory cast, sa third cast. Okay? Clear po? Any question about the tissue stop? Kayo, di ba, hindi na, I think, di na kayo nagbo-box pattern pa ba kayo? Sorry po, nung tagal ko nang hindi CI. Nagbo-box pattern pa kayo? O design na lang? Hello?
Design na lang po.
Design na lang. Oh, that's good. And then, are you required to put, yung lalagyan nyo ng extra drawing, no? Di ba parang pag nagdi-design kayo ng CD, nilalagyan nyo ng post-parietal seal? Sa tissue stop, pinalalagyan? Hindi na. Pag pina-check nyo yung inyong design, do you need to put the tissue stop there? O representation ng tissue stop? Hindi na.
Yes, po.
So, where do you put it? Inside or outside the last metal?
Inside.
Sa loob, like this one. Like the picture here.
Yes, po.
Okay, no? And then sa upper, di ba, hindi na nire-require ang tissue stop ngayon sa upper. Lower na lang ang tissue stop. Kasi, as I've said, yung purpose ng tissue stop is already performed in the upper, so there's really no need to put a tissue stop. But that is different from the lower. Kasi mas malaki yung mas malaki yung movement ng dentures nyo sa lower. So there is a tendency for the lower to cause impingement on the tissue, unlike in the upper. Okay. And then we have finished lines or finishing lines. So, di ba, every time the major joins the minor connector, we need to put finished lines. And we have 2 types of finishing lines. So, we have internal and external finishing line. External finishing line, since design na lang kayo, representation na rin lang ang ginagawa natin, di ba, sa design. Kasi this is actually a laboratory procedure. Trabaho na naman to ng technician. So the internal finishing line is done by making the lingual border of the relief wax. So kapag ang denture base kasi is made of acrylic, naglalagay ng space over the edentulous space. And this is done by placing wax, relief wax. Di ba, if you don't want impingement and there's an undercut, nire-relieve yan. So you put wax, you put space, no? And same thing, if the denture base is made of acrylic, we put relief wax on the master cast. And then yung lingual border of that relief wax, it's usually they make it more prominent, and this already forms the internal finishing line. So pag duplicate ng master cast, andun na yung internal finish line. Okay? Yung external finishing line, so yun, for those who experience wax pattern before, no? Diba, every time the major connector joins the minor connector, no, the mesh or the ladder, you put additional wax on that portion, on the junction, and this is to make it more prominent. And this is done by making an undercut on this area dun sa no, it should be tawag dito, it should be undercut so that yung acrylic, anong purpose ng finish line? Finish line is actually done to make a smooth border for your acrylic denture base. Para hindi siya over or under. Hindi siya over na nag-extend sa major connector na, or kulang naman siya, no? Na hindi na siya umaabot dun sa dapat na area. So usually, ang internal, sa relief wax. Ang external, during wax pattern, they put wax on that portion and making that wax, no, making the angle undercut. Para pag pinrocess yung acrylic, it goes inside that undercut. And if you, kasi ang acrylic, di ba, alam natin, acrylic is inherently flexible, yung not that strong. And usually if the acrylic is manipis, if it's thin, very easy to fry it off, no? Madaling tuklapin. So it has to have a certain thickness. But the border between the major and the denture base should be smooth, or else nafe-feel ng patient yung extra bulk. So how is it done? How is it that the border between the major and the minor is smooth without the acrylic being thin? That's the purpose of purpose ng finish line. Kaya nga ang external finish line medyo naka-undercut, may angle, so that when the acrylic is processed, it goes inside that undercut. So that makes the acrylic has enough thickness nasa loob, and at the same time yung border outside becomes smooth, pantay, kasi ang thickness ng acrylic nandun sa undercut. And that's the purpose of the finish line, internal finish line. External, sorry. Ang external finish line is made during wax pattern. Ang internal finish line is done prior to duplication of the master cast. And as I've said kanina, di ba? I remember, no, di ba, to make, para alam mo kung ano yung finish line, di ba? When you make the design, you make it a little bit more makapal, you try to make it bolder so that nakikita ni Doc Bartolo kung nasan yung finish line mo, di ba? Hindi, kinakapalan niyo yung border. Am I correct? Di ba? You make it a little bit more prominent to make it, to stand out, no? Para kita mo na ito yung finish line. So kapag upper, you cover the entire, kapag distal extension, you cover the entire area, the entire connection. Kapag it's lower, we only put the finish line, external finish line, internal and external finish line, dun sa end of the terminal abutment. Kasi hindi naman tayo nag-extend. We don't extend the major connector pag lower. So hanggang dun ka lang. Kung saan yung junction ng denture base mo to the major connector. And when you do that, sa lower, kailangan medyo naka-incline towards the posterior, not towards the anterior. finish line is always towards the posterior. Nakaslant towards the posterior. Pag ganun. Kaya nga pag tinignan niyo yung design ng lingual bar, no, medyo wider siya towards the inferior border. Malapad siya sa inferior border. Kasi pag ginanon mo yung, nakikita ba ako? Pag ginanon mo, no, yung iyong strip, yung iyong finish line, kaganyan yan eh. Tapos gagawan mo yung major connector na kaganyan. Diba the widest portion of the lingual bar is on the inferior border of the bar. Okay? Kung nag-extend kayo ng major connector for the lower, in cases of tooth-borne, no? So we don't extend lang kapag distal extension, no? But I think what is required, kasi 'di ba kapag actually kung tooth-borne ka, may option tayo, 'di ba? We have an option. You may or you may not extend the major connector depending on how you want your major connector. 'Di ba? Pwedeng hindi ka pero sa inyo yata, what is required for you, dapat extended yung inyong major connector sa lower. Sa lower kasi we have options. You can make the design shorter ang lingual bar. You don't have to extend. Kung tooth-borne do you follow? Inaintindihan ako? Baka nako-confuse kayo ha? Am I okay? Hello? Am I confusing you?
No.
Kasi 'di ba when we sa upper no question, no problem. It's the problem of the lower. But sa distal extension, we never extend. 'Di ba? But if it's tooth-borne, I think what is required for you is you extend the major connector until the last abutment tooth. And if that is your case, then your finish line should be the entire attachment ng minor connector to the major connector. Kasi pwede kasing hindi mo i-extend. It is also possible not to extend the major connector. Hanggang dito ka lang sa dulo ng up to the distal of the terminal abutment. And then puro mesh or ladder na yung edentulous space until the other tooth, until the posterior tooth. If that is the case, then the finish line should be kung saan pa rin nag-join yung major and the minor connector. If you don't extend, dun lang siya sa distal of the terminal abutment. But if you extend the bar or the lower mandibular major connector, then it should be kung saan nakaano siya, di ba? Kung saan siya attached to the major connector. Okay? The ideal position of so this is the internal finish line, no? So sabi nga natin, no, you do not extend kapag distal extension. Kahit one tooth, kahit isang ipin lang ang missing, no? It's still considered as distal extension. Okay. When is the best place to put your finish lines? Ang rule, no, is there's a rule where to put the finish lines. It should be 2 millimeters medial from the lingual border of the artificial teeth. So you draw a line, yung lingual border of the artificial tooth. You move 2 millimeters medial. And that is the location of the finish lines. Kasi if you put the finish line too bakal, masyadong manipis ang pontic. If you place it too lingual, masyadong makapal yung pontic. It encroach if your lingual border of your pontic is too tawag dito, too thick, no? Ang tendency niyan is it encroach on the tongue space. Hirap magsalita. The tongue has a difficult movement. Kaya nga, it should not be too far bakal. It should not be too far lingual, and ang recommendation is 2 millimeters medial to a line that will contact the lingual surfaces of your replacement tooth. And dapat, although this is technical, no, dapat ang internal and external finishing line should not be at the same level. One should offset the other. Hindi siya pantay. So, it's actually a technical, no, since we don't do it anyway, but just in case, no. So, dapat hindi siya pantay. One should offset the other. Para hindi masyado daw manipis ang acrylic. Okay? Questions po? About the minor connectors. Are we good?
Yes po.
Yes, okay. So let's go to another topic. Walang tanong. Are you sure? Wala naman? Okay. Very good. Let's go to the third component. Let's go to res and receipts. Wait lang ha. Okay ang slides? Okay. Can you see the slides?
Yes po.
Okay. Mabilis ba ako? Tama lang.
Tama lang po.
Okay. Okay, so what is a res? No? So alam naman natin, no? What is a res? This is the component which is placed on the tooth. And what does the res do? Sorry, ba't nagkaganito? Wait lang. Dali lang po. Hindi siya naka-slideshow. Okay, no? So what is your res? It's a unit of the denture that rests on the tooth surface and it provides for support to the denture. What type of support? It's usually tooth support. So the type of support that a res do is tooth support. Diba? It's the res which transfer forces, no, to the abutment. Kaya tooth support siya. Yeah, no? Whereas yung receipt, it's a prepared surface of a tooth or a fixed restoration into which your res fits. And ang recommendation is for every res that you place, you put a receipt or you have to prepare a receipt. May nagtanong, I remember somebody asked me, Ma'am, pwede po bang all res? Or can I put res? Of course you can put res, but is it proper? And imagine, no, kung lahat ng ipin lalagyan, lahat ng available tooth lalagyan mo ng res, how many receipt preparation should you prepare? Isang receipt preparation na nga lang, tinatamad pa kayong mag-prepare eh. Diba? What more if you have to put so many rests, no? And you have to prepare a lot of receipts. And kasi ang requirement is for every rest that you place, you have to put a receipt. Okay. So what is the main function of a rest? The rest transfers and the relationship between the rest and the tooth should be in such a way that the rest transfers the force vertically down the long axis of the tooth. Dapat it's vertical. Kaya nga it's vertical support. The rest offers vertical support. Dapat whenever the rest is placed on the abutment tooth, the forces that is transferred by the rest is directed vertically down the long axis of the tooth. Kasi alam natin, the tooth does not like horizontal force. Sabi, they say, no, that no matter how big the force is being transferred, as long as it is vertical, the tooth can withstand it. Kaya ng ipin. Ang ayaw ng ipin are horizontal forces. And if your denture is not stable, it creates more horizontal stress. So in a distal extension, part of the forces is transferred by the rest to the abutment, and the rest is transferred by the denture base to the residual ridge. Mas kaya ng residual ridge ang horizontal force kesa sa abutment. Okay. Clear, na? So aside from transferring vertical forces, rest is also capable of distributing horizontal force. That is why, no, between a tooth bone and a tooth tissue bone, it's the tooth tissue bone which is subjected to greater horizontal forces, lalo na kapag distal extension. Kasi free end ka di ba? So ang tendency talaga ng ipin o ng postizo ng denture is to move up and down, parang siso. And that creates rotational, that creates horizontal force. And that is very damaging to the abutment tooth. That is why kapag ang case is a distal extension, dapat ang resit preparation should be very shallow. Don't put a very deep resit preparation on a distal extension. Masyadong, the deeper the resit, or the deeper your resit preparation, the more fixed, or the less for the, less for the rest to move during function. Mas ano kasi siya, mas fix, mas ang tawag dito, mas tight yung contact. And mas malaki, there's a greater possibility for the stresses, horizontal stresses, to be transferred to the abutment, which is not good, di ba? Kaya nga, dapat kapag ang distal extension, if the case is a distal extension, yung resit mo should be very shallow so that yung rest mo or the rest is allowed to move. Meron siyang stress breaking effect. It's allowed to move during function. Gumagalaw yung rest mo dun sa resit preparation. Hindi siya very tight, and that allows for the horizontal force to be transferred elsewhere. Instead of it being transferred to the abutment tooth, it's being transferred, nadi-dissipate. Kasi gumagalaw yung denture base mo. Are you familiar with the stress equalization philosophy ng design? No, sabi nila, the best way, according to this, once, di ba kanina, I discussed the stress equalization philosophy. So in terms of principles or design, the stress equalization philosophy usually has pinakamadami, has a lot of advocates. No? Like tayo, that's what we do. No? So there's another philosophy in designing, which is called the stress equalization philosophy. Ang sabi nila, since the tooth is fixed and the ridge is movable, so we need to protect the tooth. And the best way of protecting that is you put a device which is called a stress equalizer in between. This will allow the denture base to move during function without this horizontal stress to be transferred to the abutment. Parang ano yan para siyang pintuan. Have you seen a door na walang bisagra? The door itself is movable. The wall where the door is attached is fixed. What do you place in between to allow the door to move? You need bisagra, I don't know how, you need screw, di ba? You need bisagra. Tawag sa Tagalog bisagra, di ba may screw doon? In denture, that's called equalizer, stress equalizer. This will allow the denture base to move during function without the stress being transferred to the abutment. Di ba tayo, hindi pwede yung ganito? You cannot do that. Di ba? You cannot place your rest adjacent sa distal extension, right? You always place it on the mesial. RPI. What is RPI? Di ba? R is rest. What type of rest RPI? Di ba mesial ang rest? It stands for mesial res. Usually, we don't place the res adjacent sa edentulus because it will has a greater tendency for the res to transfer forces. Mas gusto mo siya sa mesial. Meron siyang stress-breaking action. Okay? And one way of lessening horizontal forces, no? Since alam natin, we know that in the distal extension, greater ang horizontal force. We have rotational forces. And rotational forces always create a horizontal force. No? Rotational movement creates horizontal force. That is why we have to be very careful that when you make your rest preparation for your distal extension, you have to make it shallow. Mababaw lang siya. Parang pinawasan mo lang ng konti. This will allow the rest to move during function and prevents the forces to be transferred to the abutment. Okay? By the way, when do we put rest sit prep? When do you do your rest sit prep? After final impression or below? Before impression. Final impression.
Before po.
Meron kayo nagma-mouth prep? When do you do mouth prep? Hello? Hello po? Kausap ba ako? Parang wala naman yata akong kausap.
Before the impression.
Before the final impression. Diba? So, dapat nagre-recit preparation. Mouth preparation is done before you make your final impression. Kasi dapat pag final impression, everything else, all the things that you need to do is done before you take your final impression. Okay, no? Another function is the rest maintains the component on their planned position. Para hindi gumagalaw yung component nyo. Have you tried doing assemblage? No? Tapos ang class mo, you have a clasp, and then pero wire clasp lang, wala siyang rest. You look at the tissue beneath, di ba mapula? Kasi naiipit ng denture base. Kasi wala siyang rest. And the rest actually prevents the component from being pushed down towards the soft tissue. If it's a case like that, nagre-reklamo yung patient, Dok, naiipit yung gilagid ko. Why don't you try putting a rest? That will help yung denture mo. Hindi siya masyadong bababa. Kasi yung rest acts actually as a stopper. Gagalaw pa rin siya. Pero at least hindi siya bababang baba. Kasi nga, may you call this, no? May nakahawak. There is a stop to prevent it from really being pushed towards the gingiva. Okay, no? And this is one principle of design. Sabi nila, di ba? What is another advantage of putting your rest adjacent sa edentulus, no? Kasi if you put your rest adjacent to the edentulus, you have a minor connector that joins your rest to the major. And ang contact is between pontic and metal. If the rest is placed on the other side, ang contact is between pontic and tooth surface. And if that happens now, food has more tendency to get trapped between a tooth surface, a natural tooth surface, and a pontic. Rather than if you put a metal there, less food trap. Kaya you notice this, no? You try observe yung mga postizo, di ba? Lalo na pag class 4, no? Anterior ang missing, you look at the cuspid adjacent sa edentulus, usually may caries. Kasi nagiging food trap eh. So siguro that is why they recommend to put a proximal plate. Dati, I don't know if it's still being followed, no? But before we were taught na if there is a surface of the tooth that adjacent sa edentulus that you do not place any component. Hindi mo lalagyan ng anything. But at least you put a proximal plate there. So let's say class 4. Yung case mo anterior, no? Hindi ka naman maglalagay ng abutment. You don't use the cuspid as an abutment for the purpose of aesthetics. So lalagay mo siya sa premolar, di ba? So ang contact mo is between yung mesial surface ng cuspid at saka yung pontic. And pag ganun daw ang design, more food gets trapped in between. Kaya madalas nagkakaroon ng cavity dun sa area yon. Kasi food gets trapped. Better to put something there, a component. Kaya sinasuggest nila yung surface ng tooth adjacent sa edentulous space. If you're not going to put a rest, at least you put a proximal plate para ang contact is between the metal and the pontic. Less food gets trapped. So less chances for caries to develop on that area. I don't know kung ganun pa rin yung design nyo ngayon. No? So sa amin, I remember before, basta hindi mo ginamit, wala kang nilagay doon, lagyan mo siya ng proximal plate. Okay? Question po? Are you doing that?
Yes po.
Siguro nga, that's for that purpose. No? Siguro that lessens the chances for ano. No? Okay. No? And then the best way of the most common way of providing for an indirect retainer is a rest. If you need an indirect retainer, what do you put? You put an additional rest. And rest, which is used as an indirect retainer, is called auxiliary or secondary rest. So what is the difference between a rest which is placed on the mesial of a 4 na a clasp, di ba? Ang clasp should always have a rest. Di ba? Palaging may rest. No, what is the difference between a rest which is placed on the mesial of a 4, tooth number 4, part of your clasp, and a rest which is placed on the mesial of 3. Of course, occlusal yung sa 4, lingual or incisal yung sa 3. But how do you differentiate it? Or let's say, naglagay ka ng rest sa mesial ng 5. Part siya ng clasp. Tapos, naglagay ka ng rest sa mesial ng 4. Pareho silang occlusal rest. Yung rest sa mesial ng 5 is part of your clasp, Akers, or RPI, whatever. No? So, and the rest that you place on the mesial ng 4 is indirect retainer. How do you call it properly? How do you differentiate it? Pareho silang occlusal rest. Pareho silang mesial occlusal rest. May difference ba? If the rest is used for the purpose of indirect retainer, it's your indirect retainer. And alam natin na indirect retainer doesn't have clasp. It's just a rest and a minor connector. If it functions as an indirect retainer, you call it auxiliary or secondary. Rest, which is part of the clasp, is called primary or principal. Okay? And we know, di ba, an indirect retainer functions by moving yung fulcrum line further away from the source of the force. That's how an indirect retainer prevents movement away from the residual ridge. Nililipat niya yung fulcrum line away from the source of the force. We'll discuss that when we go to indirect retainer. But the rest, which is used as an indirect retainer, is called auxiliary or secondary. Rest, which is part of the clasp, is called primary or principal. So, pinaka-common, di ba? Common component o pinakamadalas na ginagamit nating indirect retainer is just a rest, and it's a secondary or auxiliary. Okay, no? And then other functions can be used for reciprocation, it can be prevents over-eruption, and it improves occlusal contact. Okay, now we have different types of rest, di ba? So you have an occlusal rest, we have a lingual end, and incisal. So no need to explain yan, no? So what is the shape of an occlusal rest and rest seat? So it should be what? It should be rounded, triangular in shape, with the apex towards the center and the base resting on the marginal ridge. So it's a rounded, triangular in shape. So that is the shape of your occlusal rest. No? It should follow as closely as possible the outline of the mesial or distal line, distal fossa, no? Or this occlusal surface of the tooth. So I think that's clear, no? And it should be the proper dimension of an occlusal rest should be as long as it is wide. Long as, no? So, sabi nila, yung buccolingual width of the rest should be more or less 1/2 of the buccolingual size or buccolingual size of the tooth, measured from the buccal cusp to the lingual cusp. Half. And the proper mesiodistal width, width, no? Yung mesiodistal size ng rest should be 1/3 or 1/2 the mesiodistal size of the tooth. So the bigger the tooth, the bigger the rest seat prep. Should be 1/2 of the buccolingual width of the tooth measured from cusp tip to cusp tip, and it should be the mesiodistal width. No, the proper size of your occlusal rest is it should be 1/3 to 1/2 of the mesiodistal width of the tooth. That's the proper configuration of the occlusal rest. And alam naman natin, no, ang rest should not walang undercuts, di ba? It should be free to move, no? Should be rounded, and it should be at least 0.5 millimeters thick. And the thickest portion of the occlusal rest is found at the base, no? Where the rest joins the minor connector. Why? Kasi this is where yung force ng occlusion is. So kailangan you should have enough thickness for the rest. Kasi kung hindi ka nag-rest seat preparation, if you don't place, di ba, when we make a rest seat preparation, the first step that you do is nilo-lower ang marginal ridge to at least 1 to 1.5 millimeters para sigurado, so that you're sure that there is enough thickness for the metal. Kasi if you put a rest on that portion, nandyan yung force ng nandyan yung occlusion eh. So if you don't put a rest seat preparation, tapos you put your rest there, it's either two things can happen. Either andun yung contact, the patient will what, no? Will complain of hindi tumatama, no, go open bite. Then titignan mo, ay tumatama yung rest mo, no? Or you make the rest so thin that it can be broken off, tatanggal lang kasi ang nipis ng rest mo. So use na tatanggal, no? O sometimes, di ba, pag ganun ang nangyayari, what do? You grind off, no, yung rest mo. Wala ka ng rest. Kasi nga, andun yung contact. Kaya nga, di ba, ang first, when the first the first step in preparing a rest seat preparation, occlusal rest seat preparation, you have to lower the marginal ridge to make sure that you have enough thickness for the rest to be placed. And it should be at least 0.5 millimeters at its thickest portion. And kapag distal extension, don't make it too deep. Very shallow lang ang preparation. This is one way of dissipating yung horizontal force. Okay? Questions po? Okay, no? Very important, no? To have a proper seat or correct seating of the occlusal rest seat on or rest on the occlusal rest seat. When we prepare the rest seat, the floor of your rest seat preparation should be directed towards the center of the tooth. This is one way of making sure that the rest transfers the forces vertically down the long axis of the tooth. And kung hindi mo kayang towards the center of the tooth, at least kung hindi man pwedeng pababa towards the center, no? At least make it flat. Don't make an inclined plane. Yung mas mataas yung center kaysa sa apex. It's always towards the center of the tooth. So that if you look at your recit, kaminon, I don't know if it's being done, kaminon, pinapacheck pa namin yung recit prep during mouth prep. No? So we have yung inlay waxing, blue wax. We have to melt it, no, and then put it in the recit preparation. Tapos yung explorer, no, tatanggalin namin. Dapat matanggal mo yung wax dun sa rest mo to make sure that there is really no undercut. Kasi kung may undercut ka, sasabit yung wax mo. Madideform yung wax mo. So that's how we used to check. I don't know if it's being done now, no? Sa amin noon ganon, no? So we have to put wax dun sa blue wax dun sa sa recit preparation namin. And then we have to show that to the CI. I-hit namin yung explorer, tapos we will try to withdraw the wax from the preparation. Kapag distorted yung wax mo, alam mo may undercut yung iyong recit prep. And no, di ba? No ang undercut sa recit prep. Tsaka tinitignan nung supervisor kung talagang naka-incline ka towards the center. So the deepest portion of your recit preparation is towards the center of the tooth. This way, no, sigurado na ang rest mo transfers vertical forces, no? So that if you look at the floor of your recit preparation, yung relationship of the minor connector that joins the rest and the floor of your recit preparation, it's less than 90 degrees. Sa pababa ang recit preparation. So yun yung chine-check. Diba kaya ini-explore yan, no? Ini-explore nung CI, di ba? Kung ang position ng recit mo is towards pababa, towards the center of the tooth. Don't make it baligtad, ha? It's too damaging to the tooth if you do that. Okay? Questions po? And diba, it's easier, no? In terms of ease, pinakamadaling mag-prepare ng, diba, ng occlusal. Hirap mag-prepare ng lingual. And just like, no? And what do we use for preparation ng occlusal? We use the round burrs. No? So make sure no undercuts. Everything has to be rounded. No undercuts, kaya nga round burr. Para walang undercut. Questions about the occlusal. You can put the occlusal rest intact enamel, pwede siya sa crown, pwede rin siya sa restoration. Although ang pinaka-weakest, alam naman natin, di ba? The weakest recit prep or the weakest rest is one which has been restored, especially in composite. Kasi mahina, di ba, ang tawag dito? Yung compressive strength ng composite. So usually break off yung inyong restoration. Kaya nga 'di ba correct me, no? Or if I'm wrong, 'di ba, bago kayo mag-prepare ng RPD, before you do your recit preparation, you do first all the restorations. Dapat talaga, restore first before you do your RPD. That's the last thing. Kasi if nauna ang RPD mo dun sa iyong restoration, chances are break lang ng break. Tanggal lang ng your restoration, especially if it's composite. Usually nagbe-break off lang. Nagbe-break off siya. That is why recit preparation is usually done before you make your final impression. Okay? Okay, no? So the next step is the next type of rest is called the lingual rest. And what is the shape of your rest and rest seat? It's a rounded V shape. It's V shape, which is usually prepared on the lingual surface at the junction of the gingival and middle third of the tooth. The apex is towards the incisal, and just like the occlusal, no sharp angles, no undercut, no. Everything has to be smooth. And this is the shape of the lingual receipt. Ang floor ng lingual receipt, it's towards the cingulum. That is why you cannot prepare a lingual rest unless the cingulum is prominent. Kasi papasok ka dun sa papasok ka sa cingulum. You place it on the cingulum. You deepen the cingulum. So ang floor, no, in the case of occlusal rest, the floor is directed towards the center of the tooth. In the case of the lingual rest, the floor is towards the cingulum. Wala kang wala kang labial wall, 'di ba? You only have the floor and it's towards the cingulum. So 'di ba when we prepare a lingual rest, yung direction ng burr, yung pag ganun ang direction ng burr So dinideepen, no? So hindi pwede ang lingual rest unless the cingulum is prominent. That is why, no, the best tooth to receive a lingual rest is the maxillary cuspid. And that is precisely the reason why they don't recommend putting a lingual rest on the mandibular cuspid, because the mandibular cuspid does not have a prominent cingulum. If the dentist really wants to prepare a lingual rest on the mandibular cuspid, ang sabi, no, the recommendation is you prepare a crown on the tooth and make that crown have a prominent cingulum para dun ka mag-prepare ng lingual rest. Okay? In terms of advantage, the lingual rest is better than an incisal. One is for aesthetics, di ba? Kasi ang incisal, alam naman natin, no? It has to be extended into the labial portion. So aesthetically, it's not a very acceptable type of a rest. No? Plus, since the lingual rest is nearer the center of the tooth compared to the incisal, usually it generates less tipping force. Diba? Tawag dito, the more, no, the nearer the component to the center of the tooth, the less tipping or tilting force is generated. So if we compare an incisal rest to a lingual rest, an incisal rest is usually placed farther away from the center of rotation. So mas malaki there's greater tendency for the incisal rest to tip or to tilt the tooth. Okay, no? So these are the recommendation. Unlike an occlusal, pwede siya sa enamel, pwede siya sa restorations. But in the case of the lingual rest, it's placed on the enamel surface provided your cingulum is prominent, patient practices very good oral hygiene, and the patient's caries index is low. So between an occlusal and a lingual, mas madaling mag-prepare. But it's easier to prepare an occlusal rest, di ba, rather than a lingual rest. Kaya nga, if you have a choice when designing or choosing abutment, may nagtanong, Ma'am, can I place my rest on the cuspid? Yes, why not? O dapat ba sa premolar? Not really. Kaya lang, if you use the cuspid for your abutment, you have to place what? A lingual or incisal rest. If you put it on the premolar, your rest will be occlusal. And between the three types of rest in terms of mechanical support, pinakamaganda pa rin, better pa rin ang occlusal rest. So in terms of support, an occlusal rest will be better than a lingual rest and an incisal rest. Nakuha niyo ko? Lahat naman yan may pros and cons, di ba? Di ba when we design, dito ba? So you have your pros and cons. Meron kang advantage, disadvantage. So kaya nga there is no design. There is no one design. I can place it on my cuspid, I can place it on my premolar. So it's really up to you how you design it. Nakuha niyo ko? Siguro that's the, kaya you know, ang hirap mag-talk about design. Actually, no? Kasi nga, we have different way of how we approach a design. You design it differently, I will design it differently. Or some of you might design it differently. But it doesn't mean that one is better than the other. Depends really on the case. And it depends, di ba, on the clinician. How you assess your case. Nakuha niyo ko? Kahit sinong dentist ang tanungin nyo, there is no one design for a particular case. You can have as many design, as many as dentists. Different dentists will approach it differently. And what is important is you know why. Ang importante, alam nyo bakit. Di ba? That's usually stress, di ba, sa RPD? Na palagi yan sinasabi eh. That is why don't compare your design. Bakit ikaw ganito? Ba't ako ganito? Ba't ikaw palatal ganyan? Ba't ako AP? Kasi there's no design. There's no one design. Kaya nga kaya ang hirap mag-discuss ng design. But actually, ang importante nga, as I've said, you know why. Okay? Questions po? Are we good? Hello? Hello?
Yes po.
Yes, Doc.
Okay. No? So, wag niyong kino-compare ang design niyo. Develop your own technique. Develop your own way of designing. Ang importante nga lang, whenever you put a component, make sure that component will serve a purpose. It will do something. Okay? And the last type of rest is an incisal rest, no? And what's the shape of your incisal rest? Usually, it's a small V-shaped notch located at least 1.5 to 2 millimeters from the proximal incisal angle. And it's the deepest portion of your incisal rest is towards the center of the tooth. So, ang ayaw natin with the incisal rest, it's aesthetics. Diba? Kita kasi, no? Hindi, it's not recommended that you put your, sorry. Ay, ba't bumalik ako? Okay, no? It's not recommended that you put your rest on the incisal surface itself. It should be a little on the proximal incisal angle. Tsaka dapat, di ba, it should be extended sa labial para may positive seat. Hindi doon sa incisal edge mismo. No, not on the incisal edge. But, no, that is why it's usually aesthetically unacceptable kasi nga kita yung metal. And then if you remove, if the patient is not wearing the denture, kita mo parang may crack yung ipin. No? Dapat kasi naka-extend, di ba, ang inyong rest sa incisal, sa labial. That makes it, parang may positive seat. No? Mas effective ang rest seat, more effective ang rest mo if it's extended towards the labia. And this is the size, no? 2.5 millimeters wide, 1.5 millimeters deep, and the deepest portion is towards the center of the tooth. And you can only put the best tooth to receive an incisal rest is the mandibular cuspid. Kasi nga, you cannot put a lingual rest unless prominent yung cingulum. So if you really want to make it aesthetically acceptable, kailangan lagyan mo, make the cingulum prominent. Para pwede ka dun ka magpe-prepare sa cingulum ng lingual rest. But normally, hindi pwede ang lingual rest sa mandibular cuspid because it doesn't have prominent cingulum enough. Yan ang ayaw natin sa incisal. Parang natapias yung labial. Question about yung rest. So you have occlusal. So the best choice, whenever you have a choice, when it comes to the rest, the first choice should always be an occlusal rest. So from a standpoint of support, maganda pa rin ang occlusal. And then next is the lingual. And the least choice will be an incisal. Kasi mas malaki yung tipping force, no? Especially if you don't extend your rest sa labial, nasa incisal ka lang kasi ayaw mong mag-recit prep, no? Nakapatong lang sa incisal surface, mas malaki ang tendency for it to tilt. So, mas gumagalaw. So, kaya nga mas recommended extend it a little. No? So, pinakamaganda pa rin ang occlusal. That is why, no? So, when you're making your design, if you have a choice between an occlusal rest on the premolar or an incisal or lingual rest on a cuspid, better pa rin ang occlusal rest. If you put it on the mesial, you put it on the cuspid, okay lang naman. Pwede naman. Hindi naman sinasabi na hindi ka pwedeng maglagay. No? Pwede naman. Malay ba ng pasyente? Di ba? Kung ano yung pinagdi-design nyo. Do you explain to your patient? Ganito po yung gagawin natin, kasi ganito, kasi ganito. You don't do that, di ba? Anybody who does that? Do you explain to your patient, bakit ganito, bakit lingual bar ang gagamitin natin? Bakit dito? Unless the patient asks, right? Please lang, when you design, no, kayo ang mag-design. Don't leave that to the technician. You should be able, kasi kayo nakakakita ng patient eh. And sabi nga nung isang speaker, dapat daw tayo ang nagsusurvey. Dapat daw dentista ang nagsusurvey. At least ng diagnostic. No? So, kaya pag nagpagawa kayo ng one piece, tanungin nyo yung laboratory nyo. Sinesurvey nyo po ba yung casts bago kayo mag-laboratory procedure? The first thing is you should survey it first. Mas maganda pa rin, di ba, kung na-survey yung cast properly. Alam ko tayo kasi, no, we take for granted surveying. Do you survey? Nagsisurvey ba kayo? Are you required to survey? Hello? Stop sharing ko na. Wala namang tanong. Okay. Ay, sorry. What happened? Nawala ako. Nagsisurvey ba kayo? Are you required to survey?
Yes po.
Oh, very good, no? So, dapat naman talaga, we survey. Dapat marunong tayo mag-survey. And we should at least know how to survey. We should survey before we do mouth prep, di ba? Dapat sinasurvey mo na yung diagnostic cast before you do the mouth prep. And then after mouth prep, you take the final impression, and that's the only time that we do your master cast. Okay, any questions? May tanong po ba about the components? Introduction, classification, major, minor? Meron pa tayong dapat i-discuss? Wala naman? Are we good? Okay. Meron akong... Ano to? Pwede po ba ma-share? Malaking PowerPoint. Okay na yan. Bulda. Design po. Ano pong design to? Anong question about the design? Yung question ko kanina. Okay. So, okay na tayo. Okay lang. What time do you want to meet later? Is it okay kapag kung 1:30? It's almost 12. No? So, let's start para you have more time to relax, more time to finish your lunch. So, we'll start 1:30. Is that okay? Okay. So, I'll see you 1:30. Later. See you later.
Thank you po.
Okay. Kung wala naman tanong, see you later.